Welcome to the Model Diaries podcast.
Your front row seat to the untold stories of a model's world.
I'm Madeline Weston, head booker for Q Models.
And I'm Millie Ross, international model, and we are your hosts.
Join us as we unpack, one story at a time, the faces behind the lens. Welcome to the Model Diaries podcast, Saskia Teje Jenkins.
Hello.
You've modelled all over the world, from LA to London, from Bali to Stockholm, and you've signed with some major agencies around the world, including IMG. Somehow, in the mix of this, you've also managed to start your own fashion label. Are you ready to tell your story?
I am. I'm ready.
Let's start from the beginning. How did you get scouted?
Well, I think it was year 12. It was year 12. I was just posting photos on Instagram. My friends lived right on the beach, so it was like the triangle neoprene era, and she had like the whole collection. And I was like, I'm going to put these on. You're going to take photos of me, and I'm going to post them. So that's what we did. And then I think from there, it was so easy to grow Instagram at that time.
Yeah.
So I grew really quickly. And then Mother Agent, I don't think she was like a proper agency, but she just like linked models to brands at the time. She said, we've got this hair care brand. They're doing a casting in Brisbane. Would you like to go? We think you'd be amazing for it. And at the time, I had never been to any castings or anything before. So I was like, Mum, can you please drive me? Didn't have my license. And she took me. Mum was all for it. She always wanted me to get into modelling. We got there. I went to the casting. There was all of the big names there. And I was like, whoa, I'm not meant to be here. I did the casting. I looked way too young, which I knew as soon as I walked in. I literally looked 12, but that's fine. And then all of the girls and the brand, which was, I think it was Nack Hair.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I was like, here we are. We're in.
Yeah.
And then they said, you should really go to some agencies whilst you're in Brisbane, because I live in the Gold Coast. And Mum was like, yep, we're going. Cool. So we got in the car, went to CBD.
Wait, I'm sorry. Straight from the casting.
Yeah.
You were like, we're going to do this in one
Mum was
foul
like,
swoop.
let's do it. Like, because all of the models were so nice and welcoming. They were like, you should go to our agency. You should do this. And I was like, this seems so fun. So went into the first agency. There was 2 in Brisbane that I was going to go to. They said no. They said that I was too short and I didn't have a rock star face to make up for it. And I was like, okay, we're in the modelling industry, babes. We're here.
Can you just the fall from grace, from feeling
I know.
so great at the casting,
Humbled.
instantly humbled. So no rock star face.
Yeah, not a rock star face. And my mum obviously fuming. She's like, she's a rock star. Like, she is a rock star. And I was so young and like so my self-worth already, like I didn't even know what self-worth even meant. So I was like, oh, okay, that's all good. No problem. All good. That's fine.
Not a rock star.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, I'm not a rock star. So then we got in the lift and straight away my mum was like, do not listen to them. That is not true. You are a rock star. Like, ignore. And I was like, okay. And then we went on to the next one, which was like a walk away. And they signed me on the spot. I walked in and they scanned my face whilst in the conversation. And I was like,
rock star.
Yeah.
Rock star.
Yeah. Like you can just see like they're talking to you and they're like looking at you.
We like you.
And then, they just gave me the contract and said, let's do it. And I was in year 12, so I still had school.
Yeah.
And at that stage, I was so random. I was training to be a cruise ship dancer. I started dancing like seriously and I cut school. So some days I'd go dance instead of school. Like I don't do things in halves.
No.
And I had no direction in terms of like educational, tertiary education, whatever, didn't care.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm going to go on these cruise ships and I'm going to dance.
And I'm going to do the cha-cha.
Yeah, and I'm going to do the cha-cha. And then got signed, and that day I walked into my mum's room and I said, I don't think I want to be a dancer anymore. I think I want to be a model. And she goes, okay, well, I'll cancel all your memberships and we'll start. And that was it.
True.
And mum's like a fashionista, so she was like, this is more my vibe. I can watch you be dressed in like cool things. I was like, okay.
So your mum always like loved the idea of you being a model, but did you always think modelling was ever on the cards for you? Because obviously you want to be a cha-cha dancer on a cruise
I wanted
ship.
to be a cha-cha dancer. No, it was never something it sounds weird, but I never really thought about my future that far. I got told that I was pretty as I was growing up, and I always thought, oh, that's really nice, but I knew I was short, and I knew that I just didn't have that dog in me, but clearly I do.
Clearly I did. Clearly I was the rock star.
So let's take it back to your first year in modeling. You're still in grade 12. Walk us through what that 12 months looked like.
So whilst I was in year 12, it was a lot of random castings throughout, like always going to Brisbane, the drive to Brisbane. Mum would drive me again. It was always really stressful because it was a whole new thing. I had never experienced anything like it before. It was a lot of rejection. It was a lot of she's too young, wait a couple years. Yeah. It was also a really cool experience, and it was all these brands that I loved. It was like Universal, General Pants, City Beach at the time, Frothed.
Yeah.
Frothed.
Such a
Princess Polly.
Queensland girly right there.
So QLD, it hurts.
Maddie always says City Beach is the rite of passage.
Yes.
It is.
I say that to all the girls. Like, if City Beach is booking you, I was like, you're on the upward
trajectory,
trajectory,
Billabong,
girl.
like Billabong castings, like
board
all
riders.
of it. Yes, exactly. And so it was a lot of that, and I wasn't getting like the call, all right, you're booked, and I was getting a little bit disheartened. But Mum was, again, Mum, she was like, we're doing a different approach, Saskia. They keep telling you, like, pull it back, no hair, no makeup, no this, no that. She was like, we're getting you a spray tan. You're going to do your hair. You're going to put some makeup on, and we're going to sell you. And I got booked for, I think it was City Beach was the first one. Yeah, it was a lot of rejection, but it was all learning curves, and I had a lot of support along the way from the agency being like, you're still young, and giving me all the tips and pointers, what to wear, how to present myself, how to speak. So yeah, it was really cool.
You've spoken a lot about rejection in the last 2 minutes. Can you talk about how you handled this rejection, or how you turned it into a positive to get where you are today?
I think maybe from the dance upbringing, or having my family is very open. They'll tell you constructive criticism. So I think everything that they were telling me, it were things that I already knew, or things that I only saw as a positive to get better. Mm-hmm. Dancing was very strict, and they'll tell you straight up, do this better, do that better. So I never really took things, rejection in that way. It was always like, okay, I can improve on this. And it was never something that I was like, oh, I can't do this. This is it for me. I'm done. It was always something that fueled me. It definitely fuels me. I'm definitely not someone that excels off positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement fuels me. Yeah. Weird, but it worked. Yeah.
You take everything as how can you improve? How can you make yourself better?
Yeah. It was even I don't know if you guys have read Emrata's book, but there was something that she said, and I was thinking back, it's so true. I saw my body as an object. It was not it was a business model basically. Yeah. So nothing was personal to me. The way I looked on the outside was all things that could be changed. They were all things that could be marketed differently. It had no effect on my soul inside. So I was just if they want me to cut my hair, I will. If they want me to be more pale, I will. It was never something that offended me.
Yeah.
You're respecting the vision.
I just wanted to make the vision.
Yeah.
And as such a creative person, I always saw it as an artistic approach. It was never something that was negative.
Oh, personal.
Yeah.
It was just a bit I understand their angle.
Yeah, it was always I understand where they're coming from. It was always that. It was never, which I'm really grateful for. But it was kind of a double-edged sword.
How so?
Well, I think that kind of stuff, you store it over the years.
Okay.
It snowballed and definitely ended up having a negative effect. I mean, it was great at first, but I think also the more you hear these constant things, and the more negative thoughts just snowball. The more that you have negative feelings towards yourself and speak poorly about yourself because of what other people are saying, even though you're not taking it personally, this all culminates over time. And I think the second that you start to have an unhealthy relationship with yourself, or with modeling, or photos of yourself, is when it can go pear-shaped.
Do you think that at the start it started with good intentions, but do you think maybe you started suppressing?
Yeah, definitely. I think also the job, doing it full time, wears you down. I also didn't have the healthiest lifestyle. I'm in my late teens, early 20s. I was having fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I never gave myself the grace of you're doing really well. You need to just remember how far you've come, take a breath.
Yeah.
That it could be so much worse.
Yeah.
So I think it just constantly got worse and worse. And I started to see my self-worth based on what jobs I was getting. I'm very competitive as well. I like to be the best version of myself. So if I'm not getting the jobs that I want, it's something's wrong with me. I'm not tall enough, so I need to be skinnier to look taller in photos.
Okay.
There's so many things that I was constantly comparing myself, because that's a pretty normal thing to do in a business model. Like, you look at your competitors, how they're going, how are they improving. So I think that really started to take a toll, and I was in a really dark place anyways. I was quite depressed at one stage for various reasons. And I think when that starts playing on your mind, it can go downhill.
Yeah, absolutely.
How far into your modeling journey did it start getting so dark for you?
I think it wasn't when I was working locally, within Australia. It was as soon as I got overseas, because as soon as I went overseas, you quickly realize that nothing you've achieved in Australia matters. You're at the pits again.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you realize in Australia, it's quite a tight-knit industry.
Yes.
So when you jump across the pond and there's like all of the Australian girls plus everyone else, there's a lot more competition.
You're not in little old Queensland anymore.
No, we are not in QLD. We are not at City Beach anymore. So that was like a hard pill to swallow. And yeah, it was just the agencies had a lot more competition. There was so much more. There was so many more brands to reach. It was really hard to find my way. And I think that, and also being alone, traveling alone, it all started to culminate. I wasn't taking time out for myself. I was flying in and out. Like, in a month, I would go away for like 3 weeks of the month. And then that week that I was back, I'd be sick because I'm like cooked
Run
myself.
down.
So, and then like the body toll and everything on top of that. And then also you're doing your very best. Like, I'm doing my best. I'm sure you try your best all the time. And to still not be achieving what you want is so hard. And like with modeling, you can be the most amazing, hardest ever worker. You could have every single attribute. You could be so polite. You could be on time. You can do everything. But if you don't have the look, a casting director doesn't care about if you're a hard worker because you're not the look. So it's hard. It's hard to come to terms with that. How do you deal with people that don't even care about modeling? They don't even see this as a job. They just fell into it because they're beautiful. They got scattered on the street. They're getting these amazing campaigns. Well, how do you deal with that? Like, they don't even want this.
Yeah.
So, and it's handed to them. So it's kind of hard to be like, well, why? Like, why is this how it works?
You're
like,
working your ass off.
yeah, and for nothing. So all of those things can become really negative. And I think modeling was the pinnacle of my life. Like, that was it. I worked all the time by choice. I loved it. If I wasn't shooting, I would do a test shoot. There was always something on the go. That was my purpose in life and my only purpose. I didn't go to uni. I didn't have anything going for me. So when you don't achieve that, it starts to really eat away.
Was there like a time in your career where you were like, shit, am I cut out for this?
I think when I went overseas, it was when I was going to visit agencies over there and I got rejected, and you know, my ego was getting kind of big here. I was like, I'm working, I'm busy. Like,
you've done everything in Australia. You're like, what's next?
Exactly. I've hit the roof in the commercial side of Australian modeling, and I felt really good about that. Then going over and them saying, you're not the look for this market, that stung, because like for me, London, Europe, their fashion, their market was where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
That was way more my vibe. I don't identify myself as a bikini model.
Okay.
Which at the start of my career, I was doing like 90% bikini. So not being able to get what I want, not being told no sucked. And that is when I was like, I don't know if this is for me. And then as you get older, I was like 22 at the time, so old. But the 19-year-olds start rising up and you realize you're not the who's who in the zoo anymore. You're not the person. So then it makes you think, well, what am I doing after this? Like, am I am I going to burn out? Is
So
this
many
it?
insecurities are coming through.
Yes.
Can we circle back and can you tell us how you got to LA and how we got to your international placement? So as you said, you were kind of doing all the top e-com in Australia. You were signed in Queensland. Had you then been signed in Sydney?
Well, the agency that I was with in Brisbane, I asked so many times, can I go to Sydney? Can I go to Sydney? And they didn't want me. Wasn't editorial enough, wasn't tall enough, all the things, and fair enough. Eventually, I must have been getting a bit of traction because they eventually just go, oh, by the way, they've signed you. And I was like, okay. So that was that.
Oh.
Yeah, it was so random, but I obviously wasn't complaining.
Yeah.
So did that. And then out of nowhere, I'm pretty sure I hadn't even graduated yet from school.
Okay.
Because the visa situation takes so long. Randomly, agency in LA reached out to my Brisbane agency. We'd love to sponsor her visa. We'd love for her to come have a 3-month or more stay.
Amazing.
Obviously, I'm like, Hollywood, we're going to Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let's do it.
So LA was your first international placement?
I went to Bali. I don't know if
Okay.
it even counts. I just went to
Yeah,
Bali
yeah.
on a holiday. And then I was like, wait, I want to come back and I want to make money here. So then went back for 2 weeks and then I went to Bali for 3 months,
yeah.
which was amazing. And then you're an international model.
Yes.
Because it's out of Australia, but not really. So yeah, then went to LA. LA it was an experience.
Yeah. Due to that rejection at all the castings?
No.
Okay.
I worked 6 days a week. It was amazing. I was thriving. I was like, they love me here.
Yeah.
But that didn't last long. That was the first time that I went over. And also it wasn't the most amazing brands, but I was I'm working, I'm happy, I'm doing it.
They whip you like a horse there.
They whip you like a horse.
I was extremely humbled when I did my first LA stint. I was like,
yeah.
whoa, they are accelerating
Yeah,
here. It
yeah.
is so fast. You cannot take a breath. I'm like,
No.
holy.
Yeah, it was full on, but it was really cool at the same time. That was something that I was always seeing from big models on Instagram going to LA. I was like, I'm literally doing the thing that
Yes.
these girls were doing. And it was so cool to me at the time. And I was just living for the moment. I was like,
Yeah.
I've got nothing else to do.
But you're young, you're carefree, no responsibilities.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so cool. And then it was just the lifestyle over there for me. I don't know. People say that it's the Gold Coast on steroids.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
But also add in ego, money, all of the fame, power, social climbing. And social climbing to me, if I see it, I get the ick so hard. I cannot deal
That's
with
your
it.
thing?
I think it's so cringe. I just
That's LA though. It's like, who do you know?
in a nutshell.
How can this person help me?
Yeah,
get
it's
to this?
nothing's
Yeah.
genuine.
No.
It
It's
was
hard to
not
keep
for
your
me.
heart closed because I feel like you're a very extroverted person. You're like a
Extroverted,
little golden
hard on sleep.
retriever. You're walking around like who
I
wants to be
love
my-
that you've said that because many people say that I'm black cat. So.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I just felt like nothing was genuine. I felt
Yeah.
like I had a lot of bad experiences, a lot of really traumatizing personal experiences,
Gosh.
and yeah, I learned a lot very quick. It was very okay, you're an adult now doing adult things. Even though I wasn't an adult, I still felt like a child. You're so sheltered here.
Yeah.
You would have only been 1 year out of school, was that right? So you're 18.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even think I was 1 year out of school. I think it was I got my visa maybe 6 months after the year I graduated. So halfway through that next year. So I was so just.
So obviously your support system's not overseas with you. Did you find that hard when it came to those really tough times when you were learning things very quickly about how the industry and that region, I guess, worked with people? Did you have anyone to, I guess, rely on when you were there?
I had an amazing agency. The owner of the agency, he was dad vibes.
Great.
He was amazing. And yeah, I was very lucky in that way. I didn't have any support though, no support, immediate support. My mum was on the blower. She's haven't heard from you. Are you alive? What are you doing? I'm here. Then had a boyfriend at the time. I think he was just whatever. She's just doing the do.
So, okay, so mum's on the phone, burning your phone. Are you alive? You've got no friends or support, but you've got a dad vibe agent.
Support. But that was it. And I think that also was a huge shock. This is my new reality. Like, is this what modeling is? Is this what, so it was very full on. It was
How
full
long
on.
did you stay in LA for?
I did 3 months. I was
Okay.
like, I am out of there.
Where'd you
I
go?
am done. But I ended up going back. Like,
Okay.
I was like, okay, mentally prepare myself. Like, let's go back, because that was always like the stepping stone. Like, what can I do more of? And like, I was getting direct jobs. And when I would get direct jobs, I would just stay for longer.
Direct
pick up some
jobs
more.
from Australia?
Yeah.
Wow.
There was like a year. It was like pre-COVID. Everyone had budget, and like I was getting flown here, there, everywhere.
I miss those days.
Yeah, I miss those days. But yeah, everyone just had like travel budgets, and like Australian models, we were a niche. We were like, everyone loved us. That was really cool. I got to fly around. And when I flew around, I got to stay for longer, pick up more jobs, and it was just a really cool experience. I felt like Bella Hadid.
Oh, I love that.
When you came back to Australia, did you kind of use that as your like grounding and like mental health sanctuary, I guess?
Definitely. Gold Coast was always my safe haven. It was always where I came, where I just needed to chill, reset, ground myself, remember that like that world is not real.
Yes.
So yeah, it was really helpful to always come back. This was always where I came back to, and like my base, and then I would just plot around.
Yeah.
With you've got a long list of countries that you've worked in and have been on placement for. I guess, which country for you did you feel pushed you the hardest, and which of those countries did you feel the most accepted in?
The most accepted, probably LA in terms of workload, because I feel like it's similar market to the Gold Coast. So that worked well in my favor. And especially when I was blonde when I was in LA, but I had a moment there when I was not. So I feel like then probably not so much.
Okay.
But the one that challenged me the most, probably London. I learned a lot in my time there about myself, went through a lot of hard times, hardships, questioning myself, my self-worth, going into the new industry of like editorial clients and just building my way up, and just no one wanted a bar. And I was really sad about it, because that's the direction that I saw myself going, and it was really hard to come to terms with that not being a reality.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably London.
Did you ever try to change your identity when in London?
Yeah, I've had a fringe, I've had a bob, I've gone blonde, I've gone dark, I've gone natural, I've gone red, gone honey blonde.
She's done it all?
I've done it all. Every time I have like a minor crisis, I'm like,
what's the hairs first?
hairdresser.
So your crisis management was cutting your hair.
Yes.
I guess that's from like everything being suppressed and then finally starting to come out. What happened when Pandora's box opened?
My skin went cray-cray. I got acne. I was depressed. I was lacking confidence. It was like so bad. My anxiety got so bad. My cortisol was so high. And because like I never dealt with anything, it was just like change my hair.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never had an outlet, and I think it just it builds up. When that happened, I ended up moving home. I couldn't work anyways.
Yeah.
So I moved home. Mum there again, booked me in to the dermatologist, went on Accutane twice because I couldn't get rid of it. Like, it was so intense. It was so crazy.
Wow.
So then went to therapy.
Okay.
Finally went to therapy. Over the years, everyone's like, therapy, babe. I'm like, no, that's not going to fix me.
Yep.
And it really did just help to learn healthy coping mechanisms and healthy ways to guide myself through anxious periods. It was really helpful. It was probably the best thing I've ever done for my mental health. So yeah, don't knock it till you try it.
What was like one of the best like takeaway self-soothing methods that you learned from therapy?
The 4-7-8 breathing technique. So I like get really, it's like a body like, and like my vision goes, my hearing goes, everything's just crazy. So 4 counts in your nose, hold for 7, and then out through your mouth for 8.
Yep.
And this is scientifically proven to, as you breathe out, you lose all of the adrenaline in your body. And then like, because you're focusing so much on your breath, everything else calms down. You're not thinking, you're not overstimulating and got a million tabs open. It's just the one. And it really helps.
I love that. That's a great tip.
That's
yeah.
a really good
It's
tip.
like, it's better than the Wim Hof, everything. Forget about them.
Forget
These
about
are
it.
the ones.
Forget
These
about
are
them.
the ones.
478.
Yeah, 478.
Was there like a specific moment or a comment that was made to you that really triggered those insecurities and I guess made everything come to the surface?
Probably the height. The height was constantly my Achilles heel. You know, get taller for me every time you leave the agency. Get leaner for me. I'm like, I'm trying. So that was really hard to hear every time because it's like something like I once Googled like knee transplants or something. Yeah, I was like, there has to be something like and like hanging yourself from like a set of bars, like just
the craziest Pilates, trying to lean, stretch yourself.
Yeah, everything. Like I just really wanted to grow and I was like, why am I not growing?
Did you find being a dancer helped you elongate your body in photos?
Yeah, I think dancing helped learning to pose.
Yeah.
But I think I got quite muscly from dancing. So losing that muscle to be more lean, which is like what I thought I needed to do, was
if you're
hard.
getting those comments on exit, like
on exit, I'm like, is this all you think about? But I honestly think it was a blessing. It was the universe saying like, there's so much more to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like if I was, mum always says, if you're a runway model, like you'd probably be in hospital right now because you'd be unhealthy, living a really unhealthy lifestyle. Like it wouldn't be good for you. And I was like, so true.
So you're back in Australia, you're in therapy. How long did it take until you felt comfortable and confident that you could do this again?
I mean, I didn't actually stop modeling that whole time because I was like, I might be down, but my money's going up.
Were you open with everyone that this was happening, or did you kind of do this like secret squirrel?
My best friend knew, Paris, who I have the business with, and my family because I lived there because I was like having panic attacks. Like,
but no one
I couldn't
knew.
sleep alone. It was so bad. Oh my God. It was so bad.
It's honestly character development.
Oh, I'm strong as.
How did you overcome this? Like, I know you're in a better place now, but how did we get here?
I honestly just time.
Okay.
It's time and making sure you're doing all the right things. Therapy was amazing. I don't even go anymore, but like I'll probably go back when I need it. I think just time. Time heals all wounds.
They do say that.
Yeah, and I think also age. I grew up. I found healthy outlets. I'm feeling really good about myself. I have a really positive and healthy relationship with my body and modeling and social media. So I think it was all just a huge work in progress that needed to happen. It was a canon event. Yeah. This was a canon event in my life.
I just think it's like if you've been storing all of this negativity and rejection,
it always comes out.
Yeah.
You cannot go your whole life without dealing with it. You have to deal with it.
Girl, that your snowball like turned into like a blizzard.
Oh,
yeah.
Antarctica.
I feel like a lot of models go through one huge crash out.
Everyone has a crash out. Every model I know has had a crash out, gone to therapy, gone on meds. Like everyone has something. Like everyone needs, like this industry is cutthroat as it is. You have to be so strong. And if you're not strong, you need to learn how to be strong because you actually can't do it.
You spoke about like having an outlet. Would you say that social media is an outlet for you?
Well,
is it a positive or negative outlet?
It's positive.
Okay.
It's positive, but I think I really worked on keeping my private life really private because I don't deal well with people judging my personality because like everyone that knows me knows my personality, but from the naked eye, you probably wouldn't get me straight away. Like I'm pretty non-filtered, pretty sarcastic, pretty dark humor, like all of those kinds of things. So on like shoots or like even on my stories, I worry that people aren't going to perceive me well or understand what I'm saying. So I like to not share too much. Like I like to share fashion, like looks, like fun events, travel, like, but my personal stuff I don't like to share too much.
Do you feel pressure to maintain a certain image online that doesn't match your real life?
Yeah.
The giggle.
Yeah.
Well, like even now, I'm trying to be like elevated and
Who's
like
she?
chic girl, like all of these kinds of things. But like I get worried that when I'm going out that people are going to see me and be like, she's so messy. Like, because like
hot mess is in though.
Yeah, I know, but like it doesn't match up. It doesn't align.
Yeah.
It's not my aesthetic. So like people, I don't know. I feel like who even am I? Like, can I even have fun outside these doors? Even though no one knows who I am. babes, I'm not Kim K. Like, come on, get a grip. But
I do think like what you're saying is so interesting because I think a lot of people who give black cat online who are Labrador find themselves in this but so many girls are like this. And a lot of them are giving this like, I guess, persona.
Yeah, it is.
And then when they're meeting people, they're going, they're gonna know that that's not me and I'm not them. And it's like this like.
All a lie. Yeah, that doesn't match up. It doesn't check out. But what I've realized, and I think TikTok's amazing for this, is you can be both.
Yeah.
Like, you can be fun and you can be chic. You can be, like, why would you want to be vanilla?
I think, like, social media has definitely gravitated more to that show me your real life. Like, let's be real here. Do you think that social media played a part in launching your career?
Definitely, because otherwise, how would these agencies and brands have found me? Like, I think for a lot of it, the agencies did pitch me, but a lot of it, they came to them because of Instagram. Like, we owe Instagram. It's like a portfolio.
Everything.
Yes.
You really have to sell yourself and market yourself the way that you want to be perceived, because maybe your agency are doing a different tactic, and that's fine. But yeah, for me, I want to be elevated, but I'm not shooting elevated brands sometimes. And elevated, I mean, not editorial, not Prada, not, you know. You're still elevated.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You're so fine.
Yeah, you're still amazing, and I love you. Yeah,
Still a rock star.
Still book me. So I think that you can perceive yourself a different way, and especially with being short, I'm not going to book a Prada catwalk, a Prada campaign, but I can still do Prada collabs. I can still be dressed in Prada and do it that way. Like, you just have to. It's
Find
some
your
people are
niche.
saying no, but that's just, you're asking the wrong person. So I think that's, Kris Jenner said that. That's a Kris Jenner quote.
Did you find a time in, I guess, your social media growth that it was a bit intense, or maybe you thought about cutting it back or just stopping or taking a break?
Yeah, there was like a couple of things that happened this year that.
Oh, this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Those who know will know. Let's just leave it at that. But that, for me, I was like, I don't even share myself on. I'm not big on, like, I'm not relevant in the way that I don't do what I do every day. Like, I don't post what I do every day. I don't hang out with influencers. All my friends are normal.
Yep.
And by normal, I mean not socially online and social presence. They keep me grounded. Like, I love them so much.
Yeah.
But that all happened. So then I had all this scrutiny online anyways.
Wow.
And for that to happen, I was like, this is my biggest fear. This is why I don't share my life. This is why I keep things private. This is why I don't like to show that side and be vulnerable on social media, because I'm scared of people judging me and canceling me for who I am, and then me questioning that. So I've set those boundaries over time because of the trauma.
I think that's healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then these things happened anyways.
Yeah.
So I was like, well,
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
I'm like, well, the worst has happened anyways. So I may as well just go ham.
So how did you deal with that when it all happened?
I had a spiral, but I'm so glad that it happened now, at this stage in my healing process and after everything, because
imagine if it happened in London.
Oh, mate.
mental institution.
Oh.
Mental institution. No joke.
See ya.
Bye. I would actually check myself in, because it was so, yeah.
If it was hard for you in a positive headspace, imagine how much it would have just
Yeah,
added
exactly.
on.
Yeah, it was
How did you get
intense.
over that?
Time again. Getting off social media.
Yeah.
I know we spoke about, I guess, some challenges you faced in the modeling industry. I wanted to talk about, I guess, your biggest wins or your favorite achievements.
Yes.
What was
Glass half full. Let's
Yeah.
be glass half full.
Yes.
like we've done some negs, let's do some
Yeah.
positives.
Yes.
What was your biggest modeling pinch me moment?
I did a Dolce & Gabbana 10-page spread
Whoa.
for a
Elevated,
magazine.
elevated.
I was like, elevation. This was in London, and it was so funny because I had been there for 3 months, and I was shooting a lot for the same brands, which was, I was still working. But
Bread and butter,
really,
girl. Bread and butter.
Exactly. But when you sign with an agency, or when you get in a different country, the first thing that they'll do is say, write your hit list, write your goals, where you want to go. And then we can kind of work towards that. And it was the last week of my trip, and I was like, guys, and this is where talking and advocating for yourself is so important. And you don't have to be rude. You don't need to be, ungrateful. But these agencies have a million other things to do. They have a million models on the books. So sometimes they will forget about you. And if you're working, they're probably she's working. It's not like she's doing nothing. So I said, guys, I'm kind of feeling a little bit disheartened because I really wanted to at least cast for some like higher level things just to like try. And they were like, totally understand, like we'll see what we can do. Couple days later, got that 10-page spread, and I was like, oh my God, it was like the most amazing feeling. Like I was so happy. And yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it wasn't like a big magazine, but for me, that's all I needed. Like I was just so happy to be in that room and to have that experience, something I've always wanted. It's still on the like side table at my family's house, and they bought all of these and they sent it out to all of my extended family. It's so cute.
I was going to
so
say,
cute.
how did Mama Ja react when we got the 10-pager?
She was stoked.
Yeah.
She was stoked. She's like, when can I buy it?
Did you feel at that moment you were like, wow, like this is such a dream come true? Like was that for you like I made that, like I made it? That's amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was so amazing.
So let's talk about another amazing achievement you've had. You mentioned that you launched a label with your best friend Paris. Tell us about Amelie Teje.
Well, like most businesses came across in COVID, I don't know, like I always saw myself going down like the more creative path, like especially after being in Europe and London, like that's when I knew I want to be in the creative side. I don't really care about modeling in terms of like me, like it was all for like doing cool concepts and like shooting amazing, beautiful clothes and amazing, like it was just the creative side was always, I wish that I could be on the camera side. I wish that I could be shooting someone else. And that is when I was like, I would love to have my own brand. And this is when like with Jean and like all of those amazing brands and like Realization Pa and like they were all popping off. And I was like, oh, I wish that I could do that. And they were all owned by 2 girls. And I'm pretty sure both of them, like with Jean and Realization Pa, are both girls from the Gold Coast. So slay. They were popping off. I bought every single thing ever. I have like the whole Realization Pa collection. And I was feeling really disheartened with modeling. I was feeling like the younger generation are coming in now. I'm old news.
Yep.
I'm done. And like in COVID, you couldn't work. Like that was it. I was like, maybe this is it. So that is when I was like, oh, and I had a really bad relationship with myself at that time as well in terms of like photos. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I had enough.
Yep.
And Paris was working at Kmart. So then we were like, let's like do something. Like, let's like do something. And we were just drunk. And she was like, what if we started a business? And I was like, what kind? And then it just kind of like snowballed. And then because I was wearing a Realization Pa dress and she was like, let's start a clothing business. And I was like, okay. And then that was kind of like a little conversation. And then like we just went on with our night, like whatever.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, Paris was like, I wasn't joking. Like we should do that. And I was like, yeah. And then I think I was just like, oh, can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Like there's too much going on right now. I had a million other things going on. I was living in Sydney. I was locked down there in COVID by myself. It was all going on. So I was like, let's just, And then over like a couple of weeks, I was like, okay, it's time. I'm bored. I'm really bored now. Like, let's do something. So then we started the Instagram. It was just like a mood board. Like there was nothing going on. We didn't even know what we were selling. Like I wanted to call it like something studios. I wanted it to be like street style. And I'm so glad that we didn't because that is so not us.
Yeah.
Like this is not street style, babe. Like look, it's like so femme. But yeah, so it was just over time trying to figure out what we even wanted to sell. Like if this was something that we wanted to do seriously because we weren't going to launch something unless we were going to see it through. We're not going to like do something and then forget about it. How embarrassing.
All in or nothing. You were
all or nothing. So it was just like a lot of chats over time. Then we sat down at her house once and we were just writing down like things that we needed to do in order to start a business. So once we did that, we kind of decided, okay, now what are we selling? Went on Pinterest, pulled like a bunch of photos of, I think it was like Bella Hadid, Lily Rose Depp, like wearing cute vintage, a lot of Chanel inspired vintage things. And then I jumped on Alibaba and found a manufacturer and off we went. And it was literally the most rogue samples you'll ever see. And I can't even look at our first shoot because it's so embarrassing.
Did you ever fear that starting your own business would risk, I guess, your credibility as a model?
Well, I think it was at the time everyone was doing it. So it wasn't like I was the only one. If I was the only one, I would have been worried. But I think it was kind of hard. Like, it was a bit of teething because you're building this brand where then you're working with brands and they're like, probably like,
Yeah.
are you like ripping us off? Like,
Yeah.
are you taking notes? And I liked to listen to their conversations because you can learn a lot by listening. And I'm such a experience. That's how I learn through an experience. I can't just like sit at uni. Like, that's why I didn't go and just like take in info. Like, I need experience. I need visual. I need like to learn things that way. So I would listen to them just talking to each other about like, you know, how things are done, the launch, the production, like shooting, how to set up a shoot, like all of those kinds of things. And that was really helpful. And I also had a really, really amazing client base that were so helpful. I even had like, before I even launched the brand, Beginning Boutique, Sarah, I think her name is, was like, I'd love to stock you, like if that's what you want, and I'll help you along the way. Like, and even now I'm like, I actually am so grateful for her. Like, and there were so many girls and like brands that just wanted to help. Like, if you need any pointers, if you ever have like a question, let me know. Like, it was so amazing.
It feels way less alone, like a less lonely process.
Less competitive.
Yeah,
like
when people believe in you, people back you. You're like, oh my God, I can do this.
I know.
All these people are like,
I had all the resources.
Yeah.
Like, I had Carleen Rashke.
Oh, amazing.
So she was like, obviously I'll shoot it for you.
Yep.
Tanil J, obviously I'll do hair and makeup. Had all my friends are hot, so just slap one of those in there. That was awesome because I didn't want to model it. I wanted to be on the other side. That's the whole point of the business is like, I'm not the model, even though sometimes I do, but that's just, that ain't up to me. I don't want to. But it works, so I'm going to do it for the business. So yeah, I was really lucky in that way. I had so much support and all the resources in the world. And it was just trial and error. Like, it was just learning what works, what doesn't, asking dumb questions to people that are like, that's the stupidest question ever.
Yep.
But you have to. And you have to learn to do every single step of the job. You cannot learn just, like, I wanted to just design and just creative direct. That's like 1% of the job.
Yes.
The other 99 is ad hoc, logistics, accounting meetings, training staff, like cleaning.
There's so many things that go into building a brand that I think a lot of people just see like the glamorous, glorified.
No, oh my God, it's not. Saturday and Sunday, I was cleaning our new office. I was putting up rods and I went to Bunnings twice. Like me, I went to Bunnings. Like,
Not once.
She's getting her hands dirty.
I'm telling you, I'm getting my hands dirty. Like, this is not glamorous, although we make it look that way. That's because that's marketing.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you do.
So with all of those things in mind, what do you think the hardest part about running a business is?
I don't even know. Like, everything. It was just like learning a lot of new things. I'm learning how to manage a team. I'm learning how to scale. Like, I'm learning budgets. I've never had the word budget thrown at me in my life. Like, I've had a terrible spending issue in my whole life.
So you spoke about scale. Can you walk us through how you kind of got there?
Well, it was a lot of learning, a lot of research, a lot of analytics, a lot of data, which is all things that I've learned. Like, I didn't even know where to begin to start. You need to learn where your customer base, who is your customer? Who is your demographic? Who are you selling to? You need to get in the mind of those people. What are they looking for? You also need to ask for customer feedback because that is huge. You want returning customers. You want them to feel like they're a part of the design process, a part of, like, we care about what they think because we do. We would be not a business without them.
It's like a family.
It's a family, and building a community now has been more important than ever. And I think a lot of brands understand that now, especially with TikTok and the way that the world's moving. I think it's from COVID. I honestly do. Like, everyone felt alone. So everyone's like, community is what ties us together. So I think, and it's also really beautiful to like feel like you're bringing a group of like-minded girls together and guys.
I think as well, like, let's take away like the community aspect, like the family vibe, but like we're in a cost of living crisis as well. So like when you're saying to people, it's like, they've got X amount of money that they can spend on like fashion or beauty or wherever they're
Yeah.
going. It's like, absolutely, they're going to bring it back to something that makes them feel a part of something
Yeah.
than just a store at Pacific Fair.
You want to feel special.
Yeah.
You do. Everyone wants to feel special. And I hope that like the whole customer experience from top to bottom is special for them, because when I have that experience, and like I'm so lucky that I get to be sent things from brands, and I'm so lucky that I get to try on like 100 beautiful outfits in one day of work and call that work. So when I receive these beautiful packages perfectly done, and then like you try something on and you just instantly feel like so hot and so perfect, that to me, being able to give that to someone is like the biggest blessing and makes me feel connected to them. And like even when I see girls tag us and they're wearing a beautiful Amelie look for like their birthday, their bridal shower, like Christmas, like something like New Year's, I'm like, I get to be a part of something like so special. I'm like getting emotional.
Get the
Am I
feels,
okay?
get the feels.
Yeah, it just like makes me feel so happy that I aided in someone feeling confident in their best self, like to celebrate something so beautiful. It just makes me really happy.
Well, just knowing how much you've gone through in your life and the struggles and the challenges that you've faced, even with yourself and your body image and everything, just to have someone wear your piece and feel beautiful and feel happy and feel confident and feel sexy. And also, like you said, celebrating Christmas, baby showers, birthdays,
like milestones in their lives.
Milestones in their lives and feeling beautiful. I think you've literally hit the nail on the head.
Yeah,
like you should be so
everything.
proud.
It's like everything. And like even if we get a fit wrong and like everyone's saying this isn't right, I want to fix that. And like we all want to fix that, because I understand how frustrating it would be. Like you've waited so long. Like we do a lot of pre-order because a lot of it's like we want to get it out as fast as possible, but we want it to be on trend, and we also want to make sure that it's perfect before we put it into production, which we're trying to fix, everyone, so it's fine. We're not going to have pre-order for much longer. But, you know, they've waited all this time and then they've paid a lot of money. Like we're quite like above that volume zone range in terms of pricing, which we're also trying to fix because we understand we are in a cost of living crisis. So they've waited all this time and then it doesn't fit. Like I would cry.
Yeah.
I would cry. I would. So I think that is something that always fuels me, is trying to make sure that everyone gets the perfect customer experience. That is like everything.
Yep. So who is the Amelie Teje girl?
So this has been workshopped over like years because we didn't even know. Like we were like, we're the Amelie Teje girls, but sometimes we're not. Like I've grown into my own style as I've gotten a bit older, a bit more mature. So now I don't know if I identify 100% with the Amelie girl. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I would say it's French girl aesthetic, super ultra femme. Like we love to get that body shape going off.
The corset.
Yes, we love a corset. We love anything that's like hourglass. Where's your waist? You know what I mean? But it doesn't have to be. Like we always say, if you don't want it super fitted, go a size up. You don't need to. Like not everyone likes to not be able to breathe. That's fine. Mini skirts. Just messy girl, Pinterest aesthetic, but lives her best life. Feels good while doing it. Selfish. Like she's selfish. She doesn't listen to anyone. She does what's best for her. She's around that 15 to 29 range. If you're not, that's also cool. Everyone's allowed. I want like a 80-year-old to wear it. No. I love seeing a fashionista that's like
a fashion diva at 80. We love her.
You know, not in her 30s or 40s or 50s. Like I love it.
Yep.
Slay.
The brand has achieved so much.
Thank you.
What would you say has been like your most memorable moment?
So obviously Hailey Bieber wearing our stuff is like unreal.
Yeah.
But
what happened? Like walk us through.
Yeah.
How did you know that had happened?
Well, we get all of the stylists DMing and emailing us all the time. Like so many amazing names have asked to be dressed by us.
So their stylists are pulling clothes for them.
Yeah, Addison Rae, like Kendall Jenner, all of them. That is like a constant, like every time we get it, it just is like a normal thing now. Something else that's like a huge pinch me is when things sell out really quickly, like because we used to struggle to sell 100 units and now it's like couple days after launching, it's like pre-orders back open for another 200 or more. And like, that's crazy to me because like we always used to see like brand owners being like, we got $1 million in 1 hour. And I'm like, that will never be us. Like, when are we going to get there? And I just think like consistency, always wanting to do better, always wanting to push the boundaries, never stay stagnant. That's when you're never going to grow or go down. You'll go down.
Hello, Miss Forbes.
Oh, Forbes. Yeah. Forbes.
Hi.
That was cool. That was
cool.
No, that was
Yeah, just a Forbes article, whatever.
Just cool.
that was amazing. So we got a PR agency in LA. We get reached out to all the time, and we always were like, no. I know how PR agencies work. Usually, there's too many brands, like, and you pay a whole lot of money, and you usually don't get a whole lot of return. And then there was this one that really stood out to us. It was just her. Like, she had left a huge agency to start her own, and I feel like that is when they push the hardest because they have something to prove.
Yeah.
Like that, like always and like everyone says like, I want to be with a huge agency, like amazing. But the ones that are small have something to prove. They are the ones that want to make a name for themselves. So, and they have less to take care of.
They're hungry.
So you have like your own personal manager. So that's when we were like, okay, let's jump on a call. She was amazing. We clicked straight away. And Paris and I both decided like, let's go through with it, see how it went. We've worked with her for, I think, like over a year now. She's amazing. I've put her on to a lot of other brands that have asked, like, wow, how do I get this? Because she got us a lot of press and PR and famous girlies wearing it. So that was amazing. And we said to her, like, this is what we really want. We want a Forbes, or we want a Hype Bay or a Hype Beast, or like something like that. We want something, that's where we want to be. And yeah.
Did success feel the way that you expected it to, with everything coming to you all at once? Or did it come with, I guess, unexpected pressures?
It was slow. It was a really slow burn. We don't ever celebrate wins, but recently I've learned I need to. And the Forbes thing was definitely, like with the Hailey Bieber one, I didn't really celebrate it. Like, and to answer your question, I kind of got off topic there. We were tagged in something and it was Hailey wearing it, and we were like,
so you just
what?
saw it on social media?
I was like gobsmacked. It was like the most insane thing.
What you've achieved, like there's so much more that we just didn't touch on, but what is next for Amelie Teje?
I think scaling.
Yep.
Really want to scale. We've got a lot of things in place, and I really think that over the next year or two, it's going to be major scale, but I also don't want to jinx it. So whatever, we won't go into that too much, but it's kind of just trying to figure out, do you grow out or do you grow up? Do you grow your team so you can find the right people that are better skilled and more got more knowledge than you to get those things done that I cannot do and Paris cannot do? There's also so much that we can do in a day. Or do we keep the team small and put more money and more time into marketing, overseas fulfillment centers, like all of these different ways that you can go?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just going to be a whole lot of trial and error. We really want to do more community events or pop-up.
Yeah.
We really want to do a pop-up.
Or a pop-up. Did she say a pop-up?
Let's just say, she did say pop-up, but I won't say where, but let's just say it's going to be overseas, and it's already, we're in cahoots with a couple people.
Cahoots.
But yeah.
Keep
that's
it on the
all.
low.
It's like, it's not in the near
happening.
future, guys. So let's just put a pin. Don't hold your breath.
Okay, last one before we kind of like wrap this up.
Yeah.
What advice would you give anyone who also wanted to start? It doesn't even have to be a fashion brand, but let's just say anyone who wants to start a brand.
I would say, what is your why? Like, why are you doing it? Are you doing it because all the girlies on Instagram are and it looks amazing and it looks really fun and it's just like on trend? Or are you doing it because this is a product you really, really believe in and you think that you have a real sense of business and you know how to lead a team, you know how to fuel something? Like, where are you sitting? Are you sitting because you have a product that you absolutely adore and you just think it will do really well and you just see this doing really well, but you don't know how to execute it and you can hire someone that can and help you, like, guide you through that? Or are you really business minded and you think that this is your way, like this is your calling, you feel like you really have a purpose here, you can really help someone and they have the product? Or like, why are you doing it? Like, even same with modeling. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it because you want to be validated that you're pretty? Or like, are you doing it for the money? Like, what are you doing it for? So I would say that's kind of important to figure out why, and also your niche. Like, what is your niche? Like, are you good on camera? Are you good at selling the products like externally? Are you really good with numbers? Are you good sitting at a desk all day? Logistics, are you good at that? So there's lots of different ways. Yeah, it's really hard to say. Like, but yeah, that's kind of where I would sit with it all.
Before we say goodbye, we would love for a quick little model rec, which can be a book, a movie, a podcast, a beauty, makeup, skincare hack, whatever you want to recommend to the audience. Shoot.
Well, first of all, silk bonnet. Silk bonnet. Silk bonnet.
God.
Like, my hair has never been longer and healthier. It's probably a lot of products that I use, but also the silk bonnet is just life-changing. It's ugly. It's not for a situationship. Like, it's for like you're either single or like married, but whatever. So silk bonnet is my beauty hack, but the best thing that I could say, Em Rada's book really was amazing for me and so easy to read, and I'm not great at reading books. I get bored. So Em Rada's My Body, probably for like the modeling side of things. But in terms of like a business read or just something to inspire you and just to get a lot of insight of someone that's like done so phenomenally well is Tash Oakley's book, Excessively Obsessed. Like, learned so much. And I've been running the business for 4 years with Paris and maybe 5, let's just say 4. And I've learned a lot, but reading that book has taught me so much. So yeah, and Tash is like the most amazing person ever and is so inspiring and such a lovely, she's a powerhouse.
I feel as well, if you're not a reader, I reckon both those books would come in audiobooks.
Yes. If you are not a reader or if you're too busy, definitely. But make sure you listen with intention, because I feel like you can't really miss.
Yeah.
Got to be in it.
You got to be in it to win it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming and chatting to us today. It was honestly a roller coaster.
Yeah, we've gone through
you
a
are
lot.
a firecracker.
Girl.
We loved hearing your
I
story.
kind of just trauma dumped, but I hope
There were high highs and some low lows.
Yeah, but like, why? I don't want to be boring.
This
Like,
makes
why would
Saskia
you-
Saskia, and we
Yes,
love that about you.
You can't have one without the other. I honestly believe that you can't have success or so much success that I've had now. I want more, but that success without having the hard yards.
Well,
Absolutely.
we appreciate how real you were as well today. So thanks for sharing.
Oversharing.
And say hi to your mum because she listens.
Yes, hi Shaz. Hello. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Like, even just to think that I'm worthy of telling a story is thank you so much.
You're always
Thank
worthy on this
you.
platform, girl.
Thank
Enjoy the
you.
next chapters.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Model Diaries podcast. This episode was brought to you by Q Models. If you like this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and tune in next week to get to know the model behind the lens.